Hi, welcome to our channel. This is my build vlog for our first gaming PC. Before touching any of your PC parts prior building, make sure you ground yourself to release those static charges which can cause damage to the electrical components. As simple as holding or touching a metal object can work. For our motherboard, we're going to use an MSI Gaming Edge Wi-Fi. This uses a B550 chipset and an AM4 slot for Ryzen processors. This also has Wi-Fi capability, so in case you don't have an Ethernet cable, network connection is still possible. Open the box carefully and place the board on a firm surface. Check the box contents and prepare the components that you might need for later. Make sure to keep all the paperwork as you might need them in the future. Carefully take out the board from the anti-static bag and place it on a firm dry surface. In my case, I placed it on top of its own box. I'll start by unscrewing the M2 slot cover place the NVMe storage module. For this build, we are using a 500GB XPG SX8200 as our boot disk. Take out the film to expose the thermal pad that will dissipate the heat from our NVMe SSD. Then screw it back in place. Next component to put is the processor. For this build, we are using the Ryzen 5 3600. It's a 6-core, 12-threaded processor that is good for gaming and also great for other purposes like content creation. It's a great all-around processor that won't disappoint in all aspects of computer use. Be careful when handling this component as the pins are very fragile, and a bent pin could mean disaster. Also, make sure that you are aligning it correctly when placing it onto the processor slot. After placing the processor securely, prepare the processor's cooling system. For our build, we're going to use Deepcool Gamax GT ARGB. Carefully unbox and set aside all the paperwork and extra components for future use. Make sure to use the proper mounting bracket that came with it. For this, we'll be using the bracket for AMD processors. Before mounting the cooling fan and heatsink, apply the right amount of thermal paste. For this build, we are using the Arctic MX4. Mount the cooling unit on top of the pasted processor and screw it firmly onto the brackets you mounted earlier. I advise doing an X pattern when tightening those screws. Do not tighten too much, just apply the right amount of force to avoid breaking the PCB of your board. After you're done with mounting your cooler, connect the wirings to their designated slots in your board. Consult your board manual and cooler manual for this part. After the coolers has been installed, next are the RAM. For this build, we will be using two 8GB Kingston HyperX Fury 3200 MHz. This will give us an amount of 16GB, which is the sweet spot for most games and other applications. When installing your RAM, make sure to consult your board manual to check if you have a dual channel feature and which slots should enable it. This double channel connection enables higher data transfer speeds by increasing the number of communication channels between the memory and the memory controller. Now we get the PC case. We are using Techware Forge, which comes with a 200 front fans and one 120mm rear fan, which both supports ARGB syncing. The design of this case looks stunning as it has good airflow and a cut part to expose your PSU. Carefully mount and align your assembled motherboard and components onto the screw holes of your case. Thank you for watching the first part of our build vlog for our first gaming PC. Hope you learned a lot. And please do subscribe to help us grow our channel. Thank you very much.